Welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, Warcraft comes to Family Guy. Now, Fenix is live, and we have so much more. Top 10, all that kind of stuff. As Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News. Everyone, and welcome once again to CTR/BNN, whatever you want to call it, from the Battlenet News broadcast bunker in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is March 27th. Yes, it's almost the end of March. Oh my gosh. It's 2018 still, thankfully. That hasn't moved. And it is now 9:39 in the PM Central Time. Thank you so much for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land and beyond. Blizzard universe, all that kind of stuff. And the players are here as well. Let's get to them. First up from Lords of the Storm, a podcast about Heroes of the Storm. It's Gizmo!
How's it going, Pat? Good to be here. Glad to be here.
It's going well. And also from Tauren Think Tank and Battlenet Sports and other crazy crap she's into. It's Jules Scott. Hello, Jules.
Hello, Pat. Hello, Gizmo. So glad to be back on Battlenet News. It's been a while.
It has been. Welcome back. And Gizmo, welcome back as well. It's gonna be a fun night. I know that you guys want to talk about Heroes of the Storm, obviously, because Fenix is now live, and I'm sure that you guys have some reports on what's going on with that stuff. We'll get to that in just a minute, because we've got a lot of other stuff first. But first, Gizmo, what have you been up to in gaming? What's been going on in your neck of the nape, as they say?
Well, besides Heroes of the Storm, I've been really sucked into Fortnite. But yeah, I talked so much trash on that game for a really long time, and it sucked me in.
Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? I think that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, so maybe I've just been doing it right this whole time. I don't know.
I always thought that's what you're supposed to do. Just talk trash and
talk trash. But then
bragged on it though, and it sucked you in. That's the best part.
Yeah. I just had to change up some keybinds. Now it feels fine. Who would have thought, Yeah. Changed up keybinds. Just been lazy.
I got to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Have you tried the mobile version, Giz, or are you doing the PC version?
I tried one game on the mobile version, and it was awful.
Really?
I don't understand. I don't understand exactly how that ports well over to mobile. I mean, I just can't. There's so much going on.
They do have. I mean, they ported it well. It's just it's going to have a big learning curve. Right. And I did not have that in the one game that I had. I'll probably, I'll give it some more shots. But when you're playing on that, unless you're grouped with somebody on another platform, you're playing against all mobile. Yeah. Which I think it's dumb in the first place. I mean, I guess if you want to play with somebody on mobile, or if you're on mobile and want to play against people on PC,
why though?
Yeah, exactly. Why?
Yikes. No,
but
thanks.
That, I've been playing a lot of the battle royales lately, and that got me back into, some shooters. I've been playing Call of Duty, but I've gotten really big back into Overwatch, which I really haven't for a long time.
All right.
And I've been having a blast in that, because that is my only game I've played that really of a competitive nature, where I can hop into a ranked and it doesn't stress me out at all.
So
like I had the big break, and then I came right back in and just this knocked my placements out. And I've been having fun.
So what are your go-tos in Overwatch? What are your go-to
in
heroes?
Overwatch?
Yeah.
I've kind of settled on the support role. Lucio was always a big one I played, and I've been playing mainly this season Moira. So I've been having a blast with her. I always, I've wanted to be the Genji. I've wanted to be the Tracer. It's just not happening. I have dreams, and they'll never come true.
I have dreams. Dreams of Genji.
I am not a Mercy player.
Yeah, I've been trying to switch it up a little bit, and so I've been playing some Widowmaker. Been trying my hand at Widowmaker. I suck at Widowmaker. So
I tried that.
Then I moved over. Then I moved over to Hanzo. I'm really good with the dragon shot. That's about it. So I have to wait a long time because I'm not hitting anything. And then my go-tos are like Diva and Junkrat, especially those guys. Just blow
I want to try. Yeah, I want to try some more warriors as well. In past seasons, I've mained Reinhardt quite a bit, and then done Roadhog is kind of my secondary. I've never really played much Winston or Diva, and I really want to start giving them a shot as well.
Actually, you know what you got to try? You got to try Brigitte. Now that she's kind of not an auto pick for a lot of people, I think a lot of people are finding that she is, at least in her current form, she's a lot more tanky than she is support, really.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because she's got the shield, she's got like a little mini charge, she's got the flail that she can whap at you, and she's a big pain in the butt. She is a pain in the butt. I'll say it. I nerf her butt. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I haven't
immediately.
I haven't attempted playing her just because I didn't want to fight the crowd. But I'll say Moira is. I still feel like she's really OP. I mean, she can 1v1 pretty much anyone in the game if you play her right. Her E is it's super fun. It's super powerful. And then her ult's a blast as well.
Cool.
And she looks cool. She has cool skins.
Yeah.
I would agree. Jules, what's been going on with you in gaming lately?
Totally into Overwatch right now as well. I completely agree with Gizmo about Moira. I play Battle Moira when I play her, so I get really aggro and I get into people's faces, and I'm constantly doing the life drain on them. It's just that's how I play her, and I'll definitely heal on her, but I will be. If I'm going to choose which orb I'm going, it's going to be the dark orb more than it's going to be the healing orb, because I want to
playing more Shadow Priest type of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when Overwatch was on sale couple weeks ago, the end of February, I bought a second copy of it to put on my /Smurf account, because I wanted to play and do a competitive run on an account that was new, to see if I would place better than on an account that's kind of been old and a lot of learning and a lot of playing with people that don't have a lot of experience in the past. So I've been working on leveling that account up, on the weekends when I have some time.
Okay.
And then I'll talk more about Here's the Storm in our segment, but I spent quite a bit of time today playing with people who are leveling up Fenix. So I didn't play Fenix, but I got a chance to play against a lot of Fenix and people who were playing Fenix. So I'm looking forward to talking about that some more. Okay. I played Fortnite a bit, when it first was coming out in the whole popular thing.
Before Drake got into it.
Yeah, I mean,
I was hipster, Jules. You hipster.
I know. I was so
Fortnite hipster. I was there before Drake.
Totally, and I can tell you for sure that I suck. So I'm really bad, but that game makes me laugh my butt off when I play
it really does. And I will say for that game, I also am terrible at it, but I have gotten better because when I first started playing it, I had no idea how the building thing worked, and I thought it was dumb. And so then I was just like, I am never going to do this thing. I'm never going to build or whatever. I don't care. And then I would get just blasted in the face all the time and die, as
you have to change your key bindings on building in order to make it viable.
Right.
But
I think
I wish they would just make it viable at the first place and not have to make you change your key bindings.
Right.
I mean, I use F1 through 4 all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. I got really long fingers.
No. No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Let's see what else is happening. Oh, Hearthstone. Well, we actually got some stuff to talk about it with Hearthstone. I was gonna mention it before the show, but I forgot that we have it in the show, so I will mention it there.
Yeah.
A bunch of free stuff for people, but right now I've got other free stuff for people because and then of course my video froze up again. That's awesome. I love it when that happens. Because, and it always happens with the Convert to Raid Top 10. There we go. There's the top 10, I think. I think it's still there.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, this is going to be a wonderful little nightmare with my video stuff. Good thing for you guys listening to the audio. All right. Speaking of visual references, now I don't know if you know this, but Warcraft Chronicles Volume 3 is now out.
Yes.
It's now available, and for that, big applause. Obviously, but there were some problems when they were going through and doing all the drafts and they found a bunch of stuff. So we are going to do the top 10 typos from drafts of Chronicle Volume 3. Top 10. So it's the top 10 typos from the drafts. They've corrected them, so we're good now. But this is the top 10 typos from the drafts of Chronicle Volume 3. Are you ready?
Yeah. Kinda.
All right. Number 10. Page 173. Murlocs, not Mucklucks.
Oh gosh, I have a pair of Mucklucks. That's too wild.
I don't know what that is.
It's a slipper. Anyway. Number 9. Page 68 should read, their axes bit deep into Ashenvale's ancient trees. Their axes. Number 8. Sargeras should never be referred to as he of the fiery pants. Never. Don't do it. Don't do it. They did it in one of the drafts. They did it. It's corrected now. Number 7. Page 267 should read explosive shot. Explosive shot. Yeah. Number 6. Page 18. Kill Jaden's dark work instead of kill Jaden's dork work. That's not dork work.
Dork of the week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's do number 5 of the typos from drafts of Chronicle Volume 3. Number 5. It's a frozen throne, not an ice toilet. It's not the same thing. Not the same thing. Number 4. Page 221. I doubt Jaina, quote, crapped herself in her cloak. I'm guessing it was wrapped.
That's
not wrapped, not crapped. She did not crap herself in her cloak. All right, number 3. Page 12. The Sons of Lothar established a permanent fart. No, that's not it. It's not a permanent. It's probably a fort. That's probably a fort or an encampment.
Unless Torbjorn says it.
It's a permanent fart. Number 2. These are typos from drafts of Chronicle Volume 3, by the way. Number 2. Page 84. She was disarmed by Thrall's self-defecating humor. That's not right. It's not self-defecating. It's wrong. That would be another. Yep. That's the thing. All right.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right. All right. And then sometimes you just get on a roll, you know? What can you say? All right. All right. And the number 1 typo from drafts of Chronicle Volume 3. It's Burning Legion, not Burning Region. There you go. Very silly stuff.
You know, Pat Mincher, speaking of the Chronicles, you know something interesting I learned from the first one? Well, somebody told me it was in the first one. Correct me. Do you know where the Night Elves come from? What race they originate from?
Yeah, the trolls. Right?
I didn't know that. Am I the only person?
Yeah. I guess, not anymore. Now everybody knows. Everybody in this conversation knows now.
Yeah.
Blood elves come from the trolls. The high elves, right? The high elves, like all the elves, they come from trolls. Yeah. I didn't know that until it was before Chronicle 1 or before Volume 1 came out, but I don't know exactly when. I don't know. And I found that out and I went, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Who knew? All right, let's move on to the news. All right, and we will start it off with, let's see, we will start it off with World of Warcraft, as usual.
A clever strategy.
There we go. So, other than Chronicles Volume 3, which is out now, you can pick it up now, go get it. It's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about this week in WoW, because there's something kind of cool. And I know that they do a bunch of different world quests and stuff like this, but I am excited about this particular weekly bonus event. I am going to be looking for this one from now until Battle for Azeroth, right? Because it's the 20 world quests, complete 20 world quests, and you get the stuff, you get the order resources. Big news. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because you get 50% bonus rep gain. So you get 50% bonus rep gain with all the different factions. BFA is coming up, and if you maybe you need to work on getting your allied races in order, like me. Still,
yeah, that's like this is the time where you'd say catch up mechanic. Hey,
I think it should be more like 200% now, though.
Yeah. Then I might finish it.
Right.
Right.
Just maybe.
Maybe might finish it. I just kind of wanted to let people know about that. And just make sure that you are working toward that all the time, because that's a thing. Okay, let's talk about this next one, because this came up and I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. Warcraft is going to be in Family Guy. I'm wondering what it's going to be.
Like 10 years too late?
I know. It does kind of seem that way, right? How long has Family Guy been on the air now?
Oh, a while. It's 14th season. Oh, no, wait. 16th season. 14th episode. Yeah, so 16 years. That's a long time. But the thing about this that's odd is that it's airing on April 1st. And of course, our astute listeners and viewers and people on Twitter of the internet are saying, April Fool's joke? Is that really going to happen? Because it kind of sounds like it, I mean, they do air Family Guy on Sunday, so it makes sense. But what's going to happen on an April Fool's Day episode of Family Guy with Warcraft kind of in there? That's the big question.
Well, and it sounds like there's going to be the episode is called Veteran Guy. Yeah. Right? And so it's going to be, I mean, it's not really about World of Warcraft. Like, the episode doesn't seem to revolve around World of Warcraft at all. So we don't know exactly how it's going to be used, but apparently it's going to be a thing. So I don't know. Yeah,
except that it came from the official Family Guy Twitter account, where it says, Leroy Jenkins, tune in Sunday at 9/8 Central on Fox TV for some Warcraft magic on Family Guy.
Yeah,
that's, and then like this Sunday.
Sure. Blizzard retweeted it as well, or the Warcraft account, which I don't think it's April Fool's, because the joke, it didn't seem like April Fool's if you go, oh, gotcha, on that post I made a week before April Fool's. So I don't know. What blows my mind, there's been a lot of people really upset about this, and I don't know why. Like, people threatening that, if Blizzard, if you go through with this, I'm unsubbing from WoW. It's like, I'm not a big fan. Yeah. reading like the response tweets and stuff.
So they're saying that Blizzard is responsible for Family Guy using Warcraft in their cartoon show?
Apparently. Okay. I don't know. But
right.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't a fan of it because they don't like Family Guy. So, I'm not a huge Family Guy person either, but I'm not going to unsub from
it's
WoW
not like,
of it.
I don't think Blizzard really has much of a choice.
Yeah.
Do they? No.
I don't think so. No.
I mean, they have trained manatees moving balls back and forth as far as what their jokes are going to be. So who knows what's in there? The Warcraft is a part of that.
Yeah.
So I'm mixing all my cartoon shows up.
Yeah, you are. Well, basically it's people on the internet needing a reason to get mad. Yeah. And if you need to get mad about the fact that Family Guy is doing something with Warcraft properties entitled inside it, whatever. Okay, go be mad. Bye-bye.
Yeah. See you later.
I don't think it's going to be as good as the South Park episode, but no. I am hopeful for this.
No.
I love that South Park episode. That was just so darn funny.
Mm-hmm. And the guy that cosplays is the guy that plays in his basement every year at BlizzCon. Actually, I don't know if he was there last year.
I don't know if he was either.
He was great on stage, though. That costume was perfect.
Yeah, it was really great.
It now has become part of our, it's part of our Warcraft history, that episode. Yes. I don't know if this will be.
I also like the guy that, because of the new system where, all the creatures level up with you, and he did 60 levels of killing boars just to, as an homage to the Warcraft episode on South Park. I thought that was really
probably, he probably wasn't actually meaning to do that. He was just on the quest where he had to gather 4 boar hooves, and he had to kill 60 of them to get 4 because all of them didn't have them.
60 levels of them to get 4.
They were they were just walking around on nubs.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. That is tough. All right. And then Jules, we had a player that did something relatively special.
Oh my gosh.
I can't. What's going on?
My mind is blown by this one individual named Xirev, Xirev, has gotten every single available achievement in WoW at the moment.
Wow.
6-year journey.
Wow. I can't stop doing that. I mean, ever since the add-on came out about Owen Wilson saying "wow" every time you crit, now I just say it all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm not even trying, and then I just say "wow," and then I go, "Oh, that sounded like Owen Wilson." All right, I'll just go into "wow." All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I think the best thing though is on Reddit. This got posted, and Blizzard responded back, and they said, "Well, I guess you beat the game. Guess we're gonna have to ruin your perfect 100s."
Yeah.
Right.
After all that, he's done all this stuff. So you get all the achievements. You do all the achievements, and then you're like, what do I do now? Battle for Azeroth. I wait. But achievements like that, I just want to make my brain hurt.
I think you just you just delete the game. You're done. End on top, right? I mean, you get all the achievements, and you're just done. See you later.
They did a Q&A. Wowhead did a Q&A with him, and they asked him what his slash played was at. He has 2 accounts. On his main account, 800 days. And second account, 250 days. Right. Which he only had since the start of Legion. So he says in total, I probably have around 850 to 900 days played. His mage alone has 434 days played. That's days, people!
And since the start of when?
Since
the
start of time.
6-year journey. 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years total. 1 account since the beginning, and then second account since the beginning of Legion, and that in 250 days. That's insanity. That's just
wow.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, I can't even do the Owen Wilson wow with that. I'm just like, whoa, wow. That is impressive or depressive, and I'm not sure which, but it's a giant number, that's for sure. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Should we talk a little bit about BFA alpha stuff? BFA, might as well. Right? Buffa? That's right. Or Bifa. Bifa. So we've got a couple of different things that are happening with Bifa or Buffa or Bazaroth, whichever. First of all, Blizzard has confirmed that First Aid is no more. Come Bifa. So thank you very much for that. No more leveling that up as a profession anyway. What are the details of this? Did they just announce that it was going to be like, it's gone, it's just done? Or did they say bandages are now in with the cloth makers guys? All those guys. I don't know.
All those guys?
All those guys.
Yeah, so guys. It looks like the bandages are going to be part of tailoring, and like anti-venom.
The cloth making guys
will be alchemy. So.
Right.
But you will, it like most professions, you won't have to go back and relearn stuff from previous expansions. You apparently will for tailoring and alchemy. It's not just going to transfer over or whatnot, I guess. You will have to relearn.
Of course. You always have to learn something.
Get those linen cloth pieces.
So it's
and wool.
So it's a little bit of good news, bad news. If you're a tailor, it's a little bit of bad news, or an alchemist or whatever. So a little bit of bad news, but if you really don't like First Aid, great news.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked First Aid. I never leveled it up. I didn't deal with it because I don't know. I was always a raider, and you never helped. Like you had.
You were always playing a healer too.
I was playing a healer, so why would I need
to worry about First Aid ever?
Am I alone in this, people? Like, am I the only one?
No, I think it might be the only profession I ever maxed out every time because I had nothing to do with all the cloth I had. I was just like, well, I guess I'll make some bandages.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you just sell it on the auction house and make a bunch of money for the people that want it.
Yeah.
I think the only time where I really wanted to do it, or where I really thought it was mandatory, was when I was when Asparagus Initiative first started going into heroic/mythic mode, and I was like, well, okay. I need to go in and I need to be prepared. I need to have all the things that will help, push these bosses over. And so I think I did it through there. Even though I was playing a healer, I still, I'm like, you can run out of mana. You can bandage somebody. You're a healer. You could do it.
Didn't it use the same cooldown as potions, though?
Yeah. So, I don't think I ever really did.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, I'm going to have this stuff on hand and whatever. So
that's like, I'm going to do my homework. I don't know if I need the homework, but I just need to have the homework.
Of course I didn't need the homework.
You did.
But you know what? If you didn't do it, Pat, you would have needed it.
But, it's kind of it's one of those mentalities where you just want to have everything because you don't want to let your team down. And especially if you're trying something new, where you're trying something where you're going out into the wild and you're trying something difficult for the first time as a team. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy that is like, do you have any tomes? You don't want to be that guy. Yeah,
I know. It's just that it makes sense that they're removing it right now because there's just been so many expansions where it's not been relevant for anything end game, except for if you're out questing and you just need, you're not a healer and you can heal yourself while you're on the go. But it just,
right. Well,
there's food, there's potions, like it's repetitive.
And the other thing, for those guys that didn't listen to, I think it was last week's show or the week before, we were talking about professions a little bit and about how they're going to compartmentalize the professions more, and they're going to put them into the expansions that they're relevant for, so that, as you level up, just through WoW, you can play whatever is relevant. You don't have to worry about that old stuff, which is actually really great because, unless of course you're a Skinner. It's really great unless you're a Skinner and you really want to harvest some rough leather because it's a gold mine. You're just sitting on a gold mine. Well, that gold mine is going to be going away. So tough luck to you, buddy.
You're so kind. You're so caring. It's like there's so much compassion.
I want what's best for me, Jules. I don't care. I'm not playing the auction house. For all those guys who are playing the auction house, very, very sorry. But yeah, it doesn't affect me.
You're not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Let's see what else. Oh, just a note, and they're not done with this yet because we're talking about BFA Alpha now. BIFA.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alpha. But they are talking about the GCD, trying to rearrange what is on and what is off the global cooldown.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of, I think, mentally it makes sense to me. Like they took a look and they were like going, okay, well, what's on the GCD? What's off the GCD right now as it stands in Legion? Where are we at? What abilities, fall on which side of this equation here? And they came up with a logic to what the GCD is doing. Gizmo, do you understand this? Do you understand what's going on with the GCD logic here?
Changes right now. I don't. It's honestly, I've always been aware of the global cooldowns, but it's not something I've really thought about. So I'm interested to get in and see how this is going to react, because it looks like they're removing offensive burst spells off the global cooldown, but making activated offensive cooldowns and on use trinkets, putting it on the global cooldown. So for me, back when I was playing a hunter, at least, and man, I am not going to be able to remember these abilities, but like Bestial Wrath, what's the Stampede? Like there were 3 or 4, big abilities that you would cast all at once, just bam, 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 go back into your rotation. So what I'm getting from this now is that I'm not going to be able to just spam those and go back to my rotation. Right. There's going to be that 1 second pause between, which could get a little weird. Because if you have, say 4 abilities, then that's going to be you're losing like 3 seconds on your first one. Some people don't seem to be super happy about it, but and again, I'm not super sure what their logic is. Besides, I saw some examples in like PvP. They're wanting to create some decision making on whether, you're about to die, enemy's about to die. What decision are you going to make? Offensive ability to try and kill them? Or perhaps something defensive in that split decision.
So I think what it's all about is kind of like those that you activate, that you need to activate, are probably for a purpose, probably in response to some unknown thing that happened to you, where you need to be like on it, and you need like PvP stuff, or like Dave dies in raid and you weren't expecting it. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's to react to something that is unexpected. If you're reacting to something unexpected, that spell should be off of the global cooldown so that you can react to it naturally. Otherwise, it's pretty it's understood what you will probably be doing through your rotation. So if it's just regular rotation burst, especially, you can that could be on the global cooldown, and that's fine. So they're just kind of playing with it, and they're just trying to see if that makes sense. So as we get into Bazaroth, just make sure to keep an eye on that, because it'll affect your macros.
Yeah, for sure. And Dravid brought out a good point that they don't want people with 1-button macros. Which makes sense, but it's gonna take, because if you've been playing class for a while, you have that built-in muscle memory. While yes, there's changes to classes every expansion. Yeah, it'll take some getting used to. So
yeah, exactly. And it's more of a just trying to get everybody on the same page with it, rather than just kind of doing whatever they want.
Yeah, and they it is alpha. They are, saying, yes, they're keeping an eye on it. If there is something that feels really bad that's on global cooldown, to let them know, because they that's not the effect that they want.
I mean, we're still. I mean,
changes.
I think if everything kind of pans out the way that it has in the past, we're probably looking at August-ish, September-ish type of release. And so, I mean, they still have plenty of time to kind of play with this and figure it out.
Yeah.
So, should be good. All right. Anything else for World of Warcraft that you folks want to talk about? All right.
I think that was everything.
All right. Then we'll move on to Heroes of the Storm.
Turned up to 11.
Fenix, the new hero in Heroes of the Storm, is live today, and for that, you get a big applause. And Gizmo, actually, Jules, you were playing against Fenix and with somebody who was playing Fenix, right?
Yes. So today I joined my friend, Twitch partner, Ferociously Steph, who is a Grandmaster level player in Heroes of the Storm Hero League, and she was leveling up Fenix with a bunch of friends on a quick match to get to be able to be level 5 to go into Hero League. So we played together, and of course every match had Fenix on our team and against us. So and I saw a lot of Varian because now Varian has some big changes.
Okay.
So here's my observations of playing against a Fenix. Character is really cool, really mobile. Really powerful with the right builds. There's some really, really strong builds. I think there might be a nerf coming because there was some like face melting going on with some of the Fenix structures that I was seeing. But one of the coolest things and the weird thing that I saw is that if you are playing with a Fenix on your team, he has this warp ability. It's a teleport.
Okay.
They can take you from one location to another. Even if you are allied with that Fenix, you can't tell where they're going. You don't have a clue where they're warping to. They disappear and then they show up. And as a healer, that was really hard for me certain times because I was playing Stukov a lot. In Stukov, you have to target your recipient of the heal and tell it, I want this to go to this hero. And so if it was Fenix and Fenix all of a sudden teleported before the heal hit him, it didn't make it. It didn't hit.
Oops.
Because the teleport was gone. And I'm like, where did you go? Like, what direction did you hit?
Nice.
So character's really fun. I've heard a lot of positive feedback. Very powerful, very versatile, fun, and hard. Like, steep learning curve on this one. If you're looking to get into it, I would strongly recommend doing some practices before you get into PvP.
Right.
Because lots of nuance.
Would you concur, Gizmo?
I would. I am still in the process of kind of trying to figure out what builds I like. He is an auto attack hero, and he has a really nice kind of auto attacking stutter stepping build that allows him to do some more damage there. But I agree that I think we might see some nerfs incoming. One of the things I'm potentially looking at is his trait is Shield Capacitor.
Okay.
And this is where Fenix, he has a permanent 800 shield. And you regenerate 80 per second if you haven't taken damage for 5 seconds. That shield,
wow,
really, like, it makes him really hard to kill, especially with his teleport.
Yeah.
Because most abilities, especially early game, you can take him. Even Chromie's Dragon Breath is not going to go through that shield, or if it does, barely touch him. So it just makes it where it's really hard to punish him and to even just get him out of lane to where he can't soak experience anymore. So I think we may see a nerf to the shield and maybe a slight buff to his health, because his health is very squishy if you can get that shield down. Yeah. But he's a really interesting take on the auto attack hero. He has the 2 weapon modes. His W actually switches back and forth between. He has a repeater cannon, which his basic attack speeds increase by 150%. And it's a single target. And then he has a phase bomb, which has 1.5 increased range and actually deals more damage as well as splash. So that's kind of his wave clear,
cool.
Grouped up team fights. And he's just really interesting character to play. and his Carbot animations portrait is incredible.
Yes.
All those are incredible, but I like his because it's a Protoss squished into this little glass dome since he's riding in the Dragoon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, if you're out there playing in quick match or anything like that, you're going to see Varian a whole lot more. Varian's big change is that they moved his basically his path, his tier. Like you get to choose to be DPS Varian or tank Varian.
Yep.
It hits now at level 4 instead of level 10, which makes him a whole lot more annoying. All of a sudden you're getting taunted at level 4.
Nice.
And you don't know what the hell's going on. It's because Varian got a big change. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the really big thing about that so far is a taunt at level 4 is big because that's the earliest taunt in the game, and cleanse isn't a huge thing in the game anymore, but the characters that can still get it at level 7. I believe Tyrande might have something at 4, but that makes it a really... So there
might be a little early game advantage.
Yeah, roaming, taunt kills,
right.
Which is interesting. But they adjusted him in other ways as far as his basic attack damage and health and stuff to try and compensate. So I think people are still trying to figure out if overall this is a nerf or a buff.
All right, cool. What else is going on in Heroes of the Storm, Gizmo?
Oh, man. So with Fenix, the StarCraft event has officially started. So go ahead, log in to get those portraits. I think I talked about them last week. You can get the Protoss, Terran, and Zerg portraits, which are really neat. There's a Zerg or Zergling mount that's terrifyingly adorable, I guess. I don't know how I feel about it.
Right.
And then there's a whole bunch of, like I said, really cool Carbot animation portraits that you'll want to check.
Awesome.
But that's the good stuff. What's a competitive game?
That's the good stuff. And now we'll get into the real dirt of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a competitive online game without a little bit of controversy?
Oh, boy.
And so the newest thing that came out with this patch is for Hero League. Opposing team player names are no longer visible during draft, and spectators cannot see player names for either team until all players in the draft lobby have locked in their hero picks. So you might not, on first glance, think that this is a big deal.
Why did they do that?
So the argument's kind of out. I think they did it because one of the things people would do in Team League and Hero League, you can't do it in game anymore. There was a short time where you could, but if you were, taking Team League or Hero League really seriously, you could go to third-party sites, something like HotSlogs, look up their names to kind of see their top heroes played, and do bans based on that. Yeah, which I kind of liked the option to do that. I'm not a huge fan of having a draft in ban phase where you're just banning based off the meta. Right. I think that you should be more strategy in your bans to that.
Sure.
But I think the bigger issue people are having here is, at least for streamers, this technically puts them at a disadvantage because we've all heard of stream sniping, where players find out or are watching a stream while playing, trying to get in games with these streamers so they can either troll them or just play against them, things like that. And streamers, if you're streaming, you'll see your team. If you're watching that stream, you have the advantage because you can see what they're hovering, what they're drafting, what to ban against them, things like that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's there's also a feeling like there, especially on the very top ends of Hero League, there are folks who are playing up against each other a lot because if they're at the very top, they're matched with the very top, and there's just a limited amount of those people that are playing. It's knowing, then that these people are really good at certain characters. But the hard part about this change is that they're trying to give it more kind of a feel like it would be to draft as an HGC level, which really it isn't. Like if you are an HGC team playing another HGC team, you've studied all of the drafts and picks and top heroes that every single one of them plays. And there are spot bans that happen every single time in those HGC games because you know that Glaurung plays an amazing Medivh, and on this map, this is something that he could really, really wreck you on. So you're going to ban Medivh, or and so now they can't do that anymore in Hero League. And I think that's actually really unfortunate for those people who are like, because there are a lot of one tricks out there.
Sure.
And like one trick Tracer out there who's just like leveling up to the top level. And if you know that Gizmozord is the guy who always plays Tracer and you ban Tracer against him, now he's got to go pick somebody else, that it actually might give your team an advantage. It's taking that away.
Have you been watching my games lately, Jules?
I stalk your games
because I'm playing a lot of Tracer right now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That was so good.
Nice. But no, yeah, I agree. And we've had some listeners from Lords of the Storm talk about that are from the Australia, New Zealand region, that even when they're not in the higher tiers, it's the same thing because it's a smaller region where they recognize names all the time. Yeah. But I compare it to, in baseball. You play a game, you play against a lot of the same pitchers, you know what those pitchers throw, you know what to expect from them. So I like that with the spot bans, just like Jules said, to where, now it's again just banning from the meta, and that doesn't feel good to me. I think they're trying to give an equal playing field for this, but if you're really trying to improve your rank and climb the ladders, if you're putting more thought into it, against memorizing what players play and, maybe not, wanting to encourage people going to third-party sites, things like that. But it feels like it's taking a weapon out of people's arsenal that are really trying to improve and climb the ladders.
All right.
So that is the controversy in Heroes this week. We'll see what we have next week.
This week, it's this. Next week, it'll be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And week. So just look forward to that, everybody. So until then, we will move on to Hearthstone.
Well met.
Mm-hmm. So what I was going to say before we started the news portion of the show was I was playing Hearthstone, and I'm like, actually, before the weekend, I saw a tweet, and it said, make sure to start saving up your daily quests because something's happening starting March 26th. And here's what it is, guys. It is beginning March 26th, ending April 9th. The daily quest completed during the Year of the Raven celebration or party or whatever they're calling it will actually reward a pack of cards. And it could be from anything. It could be from the new expansion. It could be from the Witchwood. Witchwood?
Witchwood.
Walnut. That's what I'm going with right now. It could be oak. We don't know yet. But it could be from Journey to Angora, Knights of the Frozen Throne, Kobolds and Catacombs, or the Witchwood. Witchwood? Birch. That's the wood I'm going with now. Okay. Oh, you guys. Oh, you guys. Mm-hmm. So that's 2 weeks of decks that you could, or packs that you could get for Hearthstone, which is actually pretty cool. 14 packs. That's all right.
It's so Raven.
Yeah, it's so Raven.
My God.
That's got to be a thing. That's got to be a thing. That's gotta be a thing.
Oh, Gizmo.
I know. I need that sound. All right. I definitely need that. Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do. Write that down.
Speaking of the Witchwood, Jules? Witchwood.
Cedar.
Cedar?
Yeah, cedar?
Cedar.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have some cedar beard oil.
If you have a beard oil for it, it's probably a good wood.
I don't have oak or... I don't remember the other one you said.
Pine?
Birch. I don't have that either.
Pine?
Yeah, I use pine in December.
Oh,
of course you do.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you do.
With a little bit of mint mixed in there.
And you also dangle a car freshener from your beard.
Yep.
Right. Nope, I get it. I get it. So we have a bunch of new cards coming out. And they are going to be revealed coming up. Right, Jules?
Yeah. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, They did a big old reveal stream with 10 new cards. They had from Hearthstone, Peter Whalen and Frodan hosted that stream and thing. So you got 10 cards that came out, and then they put out a release schedule that there will be a new card released every day for the next 2 weeks, revealed by a member of the community. So you can be out there kind of getting all the dirt on what's happening with the Witchwood.
Let's see, Witchwood. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Ash.
Ooh,
okay. Fair.
You know, sure. Unless you, Gizmo, do you have a? Let me ask you the question. Witchwood?
Cherry.
Oh, look at that!
Nice,
fancy man.
Mm-hmm.
Well done,
it's a fancy man.
Cherry finish.
Mm-hmm. And we also had Ben Brode on in Wired magazine too, right, Jules?
Yes. So they did video Q&A.
Yeah,
so bad. Mm-hmm. This is a video Q&A with Ben Brode for Wired magazine.
Yeah,
and so it was, if you're a big huge fan, go watch this because this is a good kind of Q&A for stuff that the community wanted. I really actually thought this was a cool thing. They asked him, have you considered ways to balance going second other than using the coin? And I learned stuff from this. He said several things were tried in place of the coin during initial design, which included giving a 1/1 minion to the player who goes second, or making the first minion they play get a 1/1 bonus to his stats. But the goal was to aim for a 55% win percentage for the player who goes first, which is equivalent to chess. And I didn't even know that. So they were going for a win percentage, 55% of the time. If you're the first to go, then you most you'd win 55% of the time. So it was kind of this cool little hey, it's not going to change how I play Hearthstone. I don't play Hearthstone, but but it will actually change and expand my mind. So your mind expanded.
It is funny how much math there is in Hearthstone. There's a lot of math.
I would love to be I think I could be a hero designer. I think I could be not realistically, but in my mind, I could be a good hero designer. I could help design raid encounters. I could not help design a card game.
Right.
Never.
Right.
Ever.
Yep. I actually tried to do that, as a separate project. I was working on a card game with some friends of mine, and we just could not get it. And then so it was essentially I don't know if you guys have ever played 5 Minute Dungeon. Jules, I know you have. But
yeah, because I played it with you.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out 5 Minute Dungeon, check it out because it's actually pretty fun. But you need a bunch of people to play it. So I was trying to do something like that where you were raiding with your friends playing cards, because that's essentially what it is. Couldn't get it to work. I played 5 Minute Dungeon. And I went, damn it! That's the idea. That's it. That's what I wanted, and they did it because I am a terrible game designer, as it turns out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
math is hard.
This video really is cool though, because I haven't played Hearthstone in forever. I may come back in Witchwood, who knows? But Ben Brode is hilarious. His answer to some of these tweets are fantastic. It's about 16 minutes, and it's all really good. And like I said, or Jules said, you learn a lot of stuff that's just interesting, whether you play Hearthstone or not.
Right on. No, it's always kind of interesting to hear their insights, especially when there's not yes, they have to talk about the expansion coming up, and they have to talk about all the things that there are, but doing something aside from that is just kind of refreshing and just hey, we're just answering some questions. It's always good. Let's see. Anything else for Hearthstone? I think that's it, right? I think that's it. And now we will move on to Overwatch.
You won't get rid of me that easily.
Nope. So we've got a couple of different things. Oh, the one thing that I saw was the video from Jeff. Everybody loves Jeff. And it's a new thing, a new feature for Overwatch. Jules, I want you to describe what this is.
You're talking about avoid his teammate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I dropped down.
You did. I was like, where are you going? Where are you going?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a new addition to try to help with some of the toxicity problems that the game has been having. The addition of avoid as teammate. It's an option that you have. It gives you the ability to avoid up to 2 players in this feature. So if you choose it, it will no longer place you on a team with the avoided player, but only for 1 week. So I guess that's good, but like,
that's a bummer though. That it's only 1 week.
That's my point, and that's the thing, because like I don't remember a name of somebody normally who's being griefing and toxic. I just want to ignore them and make them go away.
Right.
And so now if I get matched with them again, I have to remember, was that the guy that called me this and this and this? You know? And so because like I don't want to remember that stuff. I mean, I got yelled at in a game the other day where I was playing, and I got screamed at by this guy who was playing Reinhardt very well, far ahead of everybody else, and yelling at me that I wasn't healing him because I was being zoned out by the Tracer. The Tracer was coming into the back line and annihilating the entire back line. So Reinhardt's out there doing his thing, and I'm being yelled at that I'm not healing the Reinhardt. And I said, if I can't heal you, if I can't, you know, and so he tells me to uninstall the game.
Right.
Because I could heal him. And I would have been like, ignore, I do not want to team with you again. But then I don't want to remember that guy. I don't want to know who he is. I just want him to go away.
Keep a list. Keep a list right by your computer.
No.
Jot it down.
Yeah.
It seems a little weird.
I think the reason for this is because, again, it's only up to 2 players that you can do it per week, if I understand correctly. They don't want, you know, you building up this giant list of people you don't want to play with and potentially making your queue times longer and other people's queue times longer. And, you know, maybe you got somebody toxic that you didn't enjoy playing with, that, you know, you don't want to play with, so you put them on there. Maybe, just maybe, they were having a really, really bad day. Mm-hmm. And while that's no excuse to be that way, you know, it's, I guess, kind of giving a second chance. And who knows, you know, if you remember that person a second time, it happens again or for whatever reason, you can also report those people. Sure, and right. if the fence is, you know, reportable, there's a good chance they're going to get a silence or ban, something like that. Right. So to get those, you know, extreme people out, definitely still use the report system if they're being toxic. However, if it's just your personalities didn't get along for whatever reason, or, you know, whatever, you can at least avoid up to 2 people. Just, you know, if you're grinding out for a week to where you're not going to get matched up with them.
Yeah, I can see the benefit of it. You're only going to get a limited number of those avoidances per week, but then you get 2 more the next week if you're playing. Yep. I know that if you're grinding it out, trying to get playing out there, if I'm playing 7-8 games, I tend to run into a toxic player at least 1 every 5.
Well, and Dazzledorn said it in chat, and it was basically that this is to help you with recent picks. So if you are playing 8 games in a row and you run into a jerk on your first game, you can say, listen, I don't like this guy. I don't want to be a part of his world anymore, but I know that we're both playing right now. It's more of an immediate thing, right? So it's more of an immediate need for you to say, I need to get away from this dude. Otherwise, I am going to lose my stuff.
Well, and I think
it will hit other people, and then other people will try to ban me, and that's not where I want to live.
Yeah, I think I may actually use this more, not on people that are just vocal toxic, because again, I can report them, or I can also just mute that person. I might actually, you know, you come across a lot of players who maybe they don't even talk, or they don't talk much, if at all. Right. But they just refuse to be a cooperative member of the team. Sure. Maybe they're just going to play Torbjorn because they want to play Torbjorn, even though it doesn't make sense. People are asking them to switch.
Torbjorn always makes sense.
So, you know, they may not say anything, but you know what? I'm playing ranked games right now, and this person's like not trying to cooperate at all. I don't want to play with that person off my list.
That makes sense. Yeah, and I see a lot of that where there is just this person who's on the team who is not being a cooperative member of the team, and it gets to be kind of a showdown between the people asking them to switch versus the guys like, F you, I'm staying on my character, learn to play.
Mm-hmm.
L2 play.
L2P.
Yeah, that's the one. That is the one. Speaking of toxicity and stuff like that, I know that Scott Mercer was talking about some different things. Jules, is that correct?
Yes. Sorry, you're jumping all over the place on me.
Well, you were talking about toxicity and things.
There's an order, Pat.
There's an order to this.
There's no order. It's chaos.
This is kind of the next one down.
It is kind of the next one down. I was looking at the early one. Yeah. My brain farted.
We're not going back now. We're just moving forward.
Not going back. I got you. So Scott Mercer posted a forum post about they're really working on giving you updated tools to work through helping report and combat this toxic behavior. So the first change that they announced is that they're renaming the griefing category to call it gameplay sabotage, because griefing is a really super broad term. They want to be able to say, like, hey, if there's a Symmetra teleporter being placed so that you're going through it and you're falling off the cliff, that's gameplay sabotage. You're being a complete you-know-what. And or if you're just like feeding into the enemy team, that's gameplay sabotage. You're not necessarily griefing other players, like verbally, you're actually doing something inside the game. Mm-hmm. And they're saying it's not gameplay sabotage if you're just like having a bad match, or you picked Brigitte and you don't know how to play her and you wound up like getting killed 4 times. Somebody could say that's
she's
cheating.
A new character, Jules.
Exactly.
I'm trying to learn.
And I got yelled at for doing that too.
Stop blaming me. Right. I know.
He said the other change they're making to the player reporting categories is removing the poor teamwork category, because many players were using this category in a very similar fashion to the griefing category. Yeah. So they're kind of making it like the wording is a little bit more succinct. It makes a little bit more sense. But the bottom line and what they're saying is that we want you to report these players. We want you to make a report through the game. They said that people are reaching out via social media. They're taking investigations, but they really want to stress that the best way to everyone is to just go to the player report tool, and they're using that. I still like it when people like post that behavior on Twitter and you're like, damn, that's bad. Like,
dang.
That's awful.
Right.
So that was Scott Mercer saying, go and use that player report tool. I feel like a lot of us are kind of skeptical about the usage of that and how often it actually results in action, if you know what I mean. Like, we want to know that player got the boot.
Yeah, I think it's a harder thing to deal with, though, because you know what really grinds my gears?
What grinds your gears, Gizmo?
Speaking of Family Guy. And I play with a lot of people like this. I've done it before. When I get tilted, or people who get tilted really easy and are playing a competitive game, somebody has a bad game, they automatically assume they're feeding on purpose, you're inting, reported.
Yeah.
Right.
I imagine there is one of those every game on the losing team. Somebody's mad at somebody, they're putting the blame, so they are, you're intentionally fitting, you lost this game, reported for griefing. So the amount of reports that they have coming in is got to be ridiculous. So, maybe switching to gameplay sabotage, people are still going to do it, but I think they're just trying to be more clear on the definition so that, maybe it just limits that number or decreases it even a little bit. So it's easier to manage all the reports. They can get in, see the, what actually needs to be banned, because, as much as you want all the people you report to be banned, the last thing they want to do is ban people that don't deserve to be banned.
Yeah. And that is a problem. Unfortunately, there's just people out there that will report people because they didn't switch when they were asked to switch a character, or they happen to play a Widowmaker on a map that isn't meant for a good Widowmaker line of sight. And I've seen that. I've seen people saying reported because you played the wrong character on a map. It's like, no, dude, like, no.
Wow.
That's not okay. So I know Gizmo's absolutely right. There's going to be people that are most likely abusing the reporting system like crazy, which is why we, as people who are dealing with the toxicity on a regular basis, are so kind of like, well, is this tool really the way that we are going to see any change happen, where these accounts are actually going to get banned? Or is it just a bunch of noise that comes through the reporting system that they've just kind of picked through? I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll see. But the thing is, and I'm going to skip again, guys. I'm just warning you. I'm just warning you that I am going to skip down a little bit, because I do want to talk about this in kind of the bigger picture as well, right? Because I know that we also have there was an article in Kotaku talking about how Riot, Blizzard, and Twitch are teaming up to fight toxic behavior. And so this kind of all fits, and I know that it's kind of one of those things where you look at, especially League of Legends, famous for, or infamous, it's so famous it's infamous for its toxicity. And I know I have felt that wrath as a new player and went, oh no, I will see you guys later. And I left the game, never to return. So, and Blizzard has its fair share, especially with Overwatch, something as twitchy as Overwatch. You get a lot of players on tilt, and I will say that sometimes I am one of those players. Especially after Brigitte beats me about the face and neck for a few minutes. It's not fun.
No, you get stunned and then you get knocked back, and then you're just like, oh, forget it.
And she just whaps me with her flail, and I die.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
So annoying. Anyway,
it's awesome. It's awesome that they're doing this, and I'm glad to see these gaming companies come together.
Talk about what they're doing, Jules, because it is interesting. They've got the Fair Play Alliance, right?
Right. It was kicked off at the Game Developer Conference last week. They had a whole keynote speech about how basically what they're doing right now. It's just in the beginning process. They're sharing what they've learned as individual gaming companies, what they've struggled to solve, what they've succeeded at, what they didn't succeed at. And it's just like, so it's this like feeling of, we have this monumental hill to climb. We're going to use our own experiences as individual companies with our own individual communities, right? But I guess what I don't even know what they would do. I don't understand how they can take a community like League of Legends. Like, I don't think you can compare the community of League of Legends to the community of Overwatch necessarily. But it's still this, like, it's so ingrained in that culture. How do you remove that? How do you change that?
Right.
Without banning the entire user base?
Right. Well,
I don't understand. It's a culture.
Right. But it starts with somewhere. I mean, it does start somewhere, and it's gotta end with those guys that are running the company. It's if they want to control that or curtail it or try to minimize it, any which way, they have to be able to say, we are installing new rules. But I think what this Fair Play Alliance does is it's trying to understand why it's happening in the first place. Like they're trying, like right now it's all discovery, right? So they're really trying to figure out what is happening, and then they will come up with solutions for it. So this is going to take a while, but
yeah,
I mean, because we saw the thing, was it last week or the week before, where the video game guys, like a couple of guys from the video game industry came out and met with the president and said, oh yeah, it's video games and violence. So we're trying to deal with that. We're trying to deal with how to deal with trolls and just toxicity in general. And It's the new age of video games, everybody. Or something.
The thing that I struggle with this is like, so let's use Twitch as an example, because Twitch just recently came out with some brand new guidelines for battling toxicity and to battle a lot of inappropriate content and rules against it. And the problem that it's run into is that these cultures, a lot of them, the communities that have been on Twitch, have bred into some of that toxicity, that culture, and it's ingrained in its bones. It's there. Like you can find the subsets of the non-toxic, the non-dude bro culture, the non-sexual harassment culture. You can find it. It's there, but there is a strong subset of it. And it's like there was a huge outcry when Twitch brought this on, these changes, because that's what these communities were built on. Right. It was literally like that platform was built on it. And so then you get into something like League of Legends, where you as a new player, you're literally driven out of the game because you can't be, you're not given space to learn. You're not given an opportunity. How in the world
Thank you for making me relive that, Jules.
I know, but it's like that's the fear that I have of ever going into League of Legends. I've heard about the stories from you. I've heard stories from hundreds of other people who are like, heaven forbid you're a noob because you'll get eaten alive. Like you have no room to learn. And same thing now in Overwatch. You have no room to learn if you're a noob. It just, I go into playing mystery heroes because at least there you don't get flamed for playing something you don't know. And so
I do all the time.
Do you really?
No, it's fine.
But my feeling on this is like, it's so ingrained in the culture that I don't know what the solution could be that would fix this.
Right. And Pat Gamer says it in chat as well. It's that Twitch chat, even for like a Warcraft Q&A, can be really weird and toxic and strange and trolly and not very fun. Overwatch League is a different beast. Speaking of Overwatch League, I mean, you have guys like XQC that are known for that type of stuff and that get suspended and banned and whatever. So or dropped from their team or whatever. And
he built a whole community on that personality type.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to deal with, the video game culture has traditionally been young and male, right? Yeah. And so you have all these guys that are teenager to 25 that are maybe not quite grown up yet. I'll say it that way. Maybe not the most mature guys, and anonymity and all that other kind of stuff kind of lead them off the path.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
who knows what it is? But I think it's a combination of all that stuff. It's kind of like, how do you curtail that? And hopefully they'll be able to come up with stuff. And I think Blizzard and Riot working together with Twitch on this stuff makes a lot of sense. At least those big companies that have a lot of data to pull from, and have some real issues in their games, and Twitch chat for that matter. Maybe they'll be able to make a go of it, right?
Yeah, I love that they're doing this. And first, let me say, I do play a lot of League of Legends. It has gotten better. It's still really bad, but it has gotten better. No, this is really, I guess, I don't know if inspiring is the right word, but the fact that all these competing companies, because, it's not just Riot, Blizzard, and Twitch, like there's CCP, Epic, a lot of big gaming companies that are coming together and doing this, because gaming has a lot of potential. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the world. It has changed so many people's lives. I mean, I know it's changed mine, introduced me to the podcasting. These last 3 years have been incredible. I know it's saved lives. I know it's taken lives. And the fact that these competing companies are willing to come together to share information of what they are doing, what they have tried, what has worked, what has not worked, to handle this head on, shows that they are taking this seriously, and they want this to be a healthy community. And I hope more companies get involved with this. I hope they don't just keep it between themselves. I hope this becomes a big study, and maybe one day they'll crack the code. It'll never be negated completely, but that maybe they'll figure out how to create, establish, uphold a healthy community that other game companies can come into and have a successful game. Because I'm sure there have been great games out there that were just destroyed by toxic communities,
right?
And never given a chance.
You know how I actually have the solution for all of this stuff. I have the solution for all of toxicity in gaming. Just read the CTR Guild guidelines. Be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. CTR Guild guidelines. It'll be all good. No toxic gaming in there. Nope. Nope, never.
It does work, but
it does. It does.
But I'm just super excited for this and the fact that all these companies are coming together.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's cool. A couple of other things to note, just real quick, about Overwatch, and I know that's we strayed way away from Overwatch. We'll come back just real brief. Blizzard World, they're doing a couple of changes to Blizzard World, to the map, which they should have. That map is just so weird. All right. And then the other thing is that World Cup 2018 was announced, and there were some changes and some other things, and maybe we'll get into that at another time. However, I do feel like, after that long discussion, we should probably get going.
Okay.
So, but it was lovely talking to you guys. It's always nice.
Serious.
It's always nice talking to you guys. Yeah, we can get serious.
We got serious there for a second.
But we also had a lot of fart jokes at the beginning, so I think it's okay. It all balances itself out. So let's play this music, and we'll tell the people what we're up to and how they can find us and all that kind of stuff. Jules, I'll let you go first. What are you doing?
I'm doing stuff. I'm doing stuff with you.
Yeah. Yep.
You can find me on Twitter at JulesRPG. You can find me on Battlenet Sports talking about HGC and all the fun stuff going on there. I'm actually going to Heroes of the Dorm, so I'll be able to talk about all that too. I'm going to Dorm. I'm so excited.
When are you going?
It is on May 12th, so I'll be heading out to California on the 11th.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
And Gizmo, Lords of the Storm. What are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow? You're probably talking about Fenix some more.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Fenix some more. Yeah. First impressions, more impacts on the variant, tracer changes, as well as some HGC and Heroes of the Dorm stuff. Make sure to fill out your brackets. I think we have like a day, maybe two left.
No, it's midnight. It's tonight. It's tonight.
Mine's
so if you're
halfway done.
So if you're listening to this on iTunes or wherever, it's too late. If you're in the stream right now, you still have time.
I'm sorry, guys. I was too late for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that'll be tomorrow night, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Central, over at twitch.tv/Lords of the Storm. You can find that on whatever podcatcher that you prefer. You can find myself on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all those things at Gizmozord.
There we go. And for all of my stuff, you can find me at Pat Crane with a K. Twitter usually is the better one. You know, that kind of stuff. And you can also catch this show at Convert to Raid. And with that, I'm going to bail on this music, and I'm going to play this. There we go. And you can join the Bazooba Guabo Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com. That's where we have all the things now. We have our show downloads, we have our Discord info, our video, our audio, the guild stuff, the non-toxic guild stuff. It's non-toxic. That's right. It's just like a Crayola. It's like a crayon. Non-toxic.
Mm-hmm. Not like Britney Spears.
Right. She's also poison. All right. But we have a bunch of stuff over there, including the Convert to Raid podcast network. And that has shows from these two monkeys and all the regular contributors of Convert to Raid and Convert to Raid, the Battlenet Sports. So everybody's in on it. Convert to Raid is produced and distributed by Signals Media. That's going to do it for the show. We're going to get out of here. So thank you, Twitch chat. Thank you guys, no matter where you're listening to us, in the car, at home, wherever you are. We really do appreciate it. And we will see you next time. For Jules, for Gizmo, and for myself. We will see you next time. Until then, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm so old. How old are you? I'm so old that when we got crayons, we didn't have the sharpener in the back, right?
We didn't have those either until I was like just at the end stages of my Crayola prime.
See, now, I didn't discover that until the 128 box, I think.
Yeah, the 128 boxes had them.
Yeah.
But they didn't make the 128 boxes early on. They just made the 64 box.
Right. Because they didn't have all those fancy colors like cornflower or whatever it was. Let's see, periwinkle. They didn't have those. It was just,
marigold.
It was just blue and red and not burnt umber. They didn't have that one.
Burnt sienna.
Burnt sienna. Burnt umber and
sienna.
burnt. No, they had both. They had burnt sienna and burnt umber. Yeah, they had both.
Oh my God.
One was a little bit more orangey than the other one. I don't know which is which. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to send Pat a box of 128 Crayola crayons, send me a message and I'll get you an address.
Just a little bit.